what am I doing? We're doing, and the work.
Position.
We can do position and then
the work
under
the
this.
center.
Okay. So you got it.
Okay.
So.
My name is Kathleen Liang, and my real name is Chyi Liang. I am with North Carolina Agriculture and Technical State University. My position at the university is W.K. Kellogg Distinguished Professor of Sustainable Agriculture, and also the Director of Center for Environmental Farming Systems at the North Carolina A&T. Now, I just want to clarify the Center for Environmental Farming System is a three-way partnership. It's a unique opportunity in collaboration with A&T, NC State University, and the North Carolina Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services. Yeah, we're the only partnership in the country with an official MOU. Now, my work with the Center of Excellence relates to Thrust 5, which is an integrated thrust with two objectives. First one is to bring all the thrusts together, to share information, to communicate, workshop, training, field days, conferences, or any opportunities that we all offer to help producers and the consumers. Number two is to figure out a way to capture collaborative impact from social, economic, and environmental aspects. For example, Thrust 1, they have a crop production system. Thrust 2 is livestock. And then with different thrusts, each thrust will have different programs, different training, student teaching, learning, that sort of thing. And then we help to collect information from participation, learning outcomes, or any new things that we discovered. We can continue evolve across all thrusts for future inter-institutional collaboration. The USDA program, for some people may not know different kind of program formation within USDA. USDA has the AFRI program, which is the flagship research-oriented, that kind of thing, for agriculture and the food initiative programs. That's the largest one with 40, 50 announcements sometimes for grant opportunities. Then USDA has non-AFRI programs, like the Workforce Development, New Beginning Farm Program Development, the brand new next generation of agriculture leadership, that kind of thing. So that's non-AFRI support for institutions to get funding, doing things that they're more directly engaging communities. The third group of funding through USDA is a cooperative agreement. They're not grants, but those are like NRCS, Natural Resource Conservation Service, and Agriculture Marketing Service cooperative agreement to promote local food, conservation practices, cost share, that sort of thing. I believe that for USDA to more engage in the conversation and the communication with 1890 land grant or other non-land grant HBCU, tribal colleges, and other minority serving institutions have to be more regular to, first of all, let us know what's available. A lot of times people don't even know when a call for proposal comes out. And very often when we notice the call for proposal, it's too late. And by the way, usually a call for proposal to the proposal due date is about 45 to 60 days. So that really doesn't give enough time. One thing USDA staff members probably need a more understanding is how these minority serving institutions work. We work on a different time frame with a different set of workload. Many of our faculty staff members have multiple tasks, holding multiple titles, and our workload is just overwhelmed. So that's the first thing is, one way or the other, we hope that USDA staff members would get a better connection with us to understand how we operate and to help us to access the information as soon as available. So at least we get a fair, square competition to begin with. But the second thing you pointed out is relatively low amount of focused funding for the general cohort as a minority serving institutions. We can look at it from this way, that if USDA can sit down and look at the historical records of funded projects through different institutions, get a proportion. I'm not talking about the co-PI, the collaborators just get a smaller share. I think that we are talking about the lead institutions as HBCU or as other minority institution under that scenario. Historically, how many of us were in that leadership position when it comes to funding? Now recently, USDA did release the HBCU, the next gen program, which is a significant amount of investment. And then Agriculture Marketing Service also has particular funding reserved for underserved communities and the cohort, that kind of thing. So we do see a little bit of increase in the support level. However, it's not going to solve the long-term problem, because we still need to come back to look at a state appropriation, to look at a matching mechanism, right? Comparing to our counterpart 1862 land-grant institutions, HBCU has much lower endowment, has much lower opportunities to get a fair match to begin with, and that's in the historical background to begin with. So even though a one-time booster is good, we appreciate that increase in awareness, but we have to have a long-term strategy working with USDA continuously as a partner, sharing and help educating the staffer members what we have to deal with from our challenge and the barrier aspects, but also bring us up to the quality that we can be a fair and square competitor. This way, it's a good opportunity. We know we have skilled, talented members working in our institutions. We just need a little bit more support to achieve that equal competitive level. Then I'm sure we can make it. I can use my own story as an example to motivate other folks going to this field. How about that? I was born and raised in Taiwan. My hometown is the capital city, Taipei, Taiwan. I came to this country in 1988 to pursue my graduate degrees at Purdue University. So I'm a Boilermaker. I received my master and a PhD degrees from Purdue University in the Department of Agriculture Economics. And from there, I had my first job with the University of Nebraska in 1996. So it did take me a little bit of time. I stayed at Purdue for 8 years. But that was a great time, very challenging programs, but I also learned everything that I need to know today still was built from that foundation. So I really appreciate Purdue program. I graduated in 1996. My first job was with Panhandle Research Extension Center in western Nebraska, Scottsbluff, Nebraska, with the University of Nebraska. I stayed there 2 years. There I developed the multidisciplinary appreciation. Because of my work, I had to work with about 12, 14 different faculty members stationed in Scottsbluff, working on topic from buffalo herd, prairie dog management, small grain, sunflower oil, testing, livestock management, and then sugar beet management, harvest, everything, turf grass. So I learned a lot from these field scientists about the production side. And then I moved to University of Vermont in 1998. 1998, I moved to University of Vermont, started my faculty position from assistant professor to associate professor to professor, about 19 years. And then I moved to North Carolina A&T in 2016 and started my current position.
So you're at Vermont the longest?
I was at Vermont the longest, and most of the things built my reputation today was at the University of Vermont. For example, I started the first entrepreneurship program that Dr. Hill knows really well. The Dollar Enterprise program is the first entrepreneurship program in the College of Agriculture in this country. And our program offers community entrepreneurship major and a community entrepreneurship minor to help young people to learn 3 aspects about being an entrepreneur: entrepreneurial mindset and the spirit, entrepreneurial process and the business skills, entrepreneurial opportunities within the community with or without any resources. The famous part of my program is we actually start businesses on campus. I was teaching 120 to 150 students each semester when I was at the UVM. And the students work with team members. I give each person $1. That's why it's called a dollar enterprise. It's a seed money, but I do not allow them to use the seed money. So that's like a bank. My students have to use recyclable material, reusable material, any waste that could be upgraded to new product to create either food or non-food categories to sell on campus. We have to go through the same vendor application process like an outside vendor selling on campus. And we also have to abide to all campus policies, including food safety policy, to maintain the business activity. At the end of the semester, we donate all proceeds to local charity organizations. When I was there, I officially launched the Dollar Enterprise activity in 2005. Between 2005 and 2016, when I left, every team all together combined over the years, we earned more than $60,000 donated to more than 300 charity organizations. That was one thing I was famous, but the entrepreneurship stuff I'm doing, and I use the same process. I have a book to teach people how to do this. I use the same book, the same process to teach small farmers, minority farmers, socially disadvantaged farmers, anybody who wants to look at what kind of things they could do without leaving that environment.
I like that. All the small HBCUs definitely need that in their community.
I do workshop with sometimes the HBC. I know we have extension meeting, we have ARD, the research meeting.
Yeah.
I presented Dollar Enterprise several times,
Okay.
but they invite me back every year to share some new information to get everybody brainstorm together.
Okay.
That's good. We need that in Tuskegee.
For sure.